Welcome to Plans Are Booked, a podcast for every reader. I'm Molly Geller.
I'm Stephanie Blackburn.
And I'm Caitlin Madison. Welcome to episode 101, which makes me want to do like the Count Dracula, like 1, ha, 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 ha. 0, ha, 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 ha. 101 feels fake. They're just going to feel fake from here on out. I have been on break for 2 weeks. Today is the last day of that break. I go back to work tomorrow. Do I have the Sunday scaries? Not really, honestly, because it has the first week was like very chaotic because it was like holidays and family, and I had tons of plans with people. And then the second week I was supposed to ski in Vermont and I didn't for 27 different reasons, including that it was like going to be a high of -8 the entire time. But I've had a lot of unstructured time as a result with like very few plans. So I texted my brother the other day and I was like, hey, I was thinking about getting takeout from Town Spa Pizza in Stoughton. And I know that you've been wanting to go because he's a big pizza guy. So we went. And if you don't know about Town Spa Pizza, it's a cash only relic. It's been there since the 50s, but it looks like it's stuck in the 80s. So it's just like it kind of looks like the basement from Stranger Things. Like it has the wood paneling for the walls. Everyone's a masshole. Everybody's playing Keno. You can play the lottery there. There's an entire parking lot just for the takeout side. Like it is old school quintessential Massachusetts. All of the pizzas are bar pies, individual sized. And you can get any kind of sauce you want on your pizza. Buffalo, barbecue, sweet and sour, regular tomato. You can get your pizza crisped to your delight. You can get your pizza laced, which means that they put cheese on the edge of it so that the crust outside has extra cheese. You can do whatever you want. We get there and Brad's like, oh, this is one of the like core 4 or something like that. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, this is one of the core 4 original bar pizza places in Massachusetts. And Dave Portnoy from Barstool, when he started his One Bite, Everybody Knows the Rules pizza reviews, it was the first restaurant he went to. I had no idea. I just was like, my friend Mike told me about it. I didn't know that it had all this lore. And I was like, but I got a big kick out of it because it's literally cash only. The pizza is amazing and the people watching is even better. So we had a great time. We went and did that. Everybody loved it. They make their own honey mustard there that you can buy by the bottle. It's delicious. I could eat it with a spoon. It's just a really funny spot. I highly recommend if you're like ever in the Stoughton area that you should go check it out because it's just, the food is so good. And you literally feel like you've fallen into like some kind of time warp. And it also kind of like went well with like Stranger Things ending, and like I had just watched that. But basically I did that. I hung out with my dog a bunch. He's like been my shadow, like in a nice way, but also like if I'm trying to cook something, he's like under my feet constantly. So we need some separation, I think. Watched Heated Rivalry again, read the first 2 books of that series. Like it's been very low key. So I think that my Sunday scaries don't really exist because I need to get back into like some sort of a routine. Like I went to boxing on Friday and I went to boxing on Sunday and I hadn't gone in like 2 or 3 weeks because I was sick and then it was holidays and whatever. And even just getting back into that, I was like, okay, I'm like a normal person. I'm back on my normal routines. I'm doing my things. But like, talk to me at 2:30 tomorrow when I hit a wall and like want to die and need 6 Diet Cokes. But because 2:30 is like my hell on earth time. It's when I would get out of school when I was teaching. And almost 6 years later, I still hit a wall at 2:30 every single day. And I don't know why. And Brad makes fun of me and he's like, you would think it would have gone away by now. And I was like, apparently my body just needs a break at 2:30. Like at 2:30, we take a siesta. But that obviously does not happen at work. What has everybody else been doing?
I've been dealing with rodents, which, if you know me, I am terrified of 3 things: bats, dark water, and rodents.
I didn't know about the bats. I knew the other two.
Yes, you do.
Oh, sure you did. When they came out of the ceiling at the flip house.
Multiple flip houses.
Right. Yeah. You know what?
Fell on me.
I thought that was because they fell on you. I didn't think that it was
No, I
because
was
it was
already
a
terrified
bat
of bats
specifically.
before then.
My bad. I thought if anything had fallen out at you, it would have been bad. I didn't realize bats were specific.
It's the fact that they can fly that freaks me
And they
out.
can make themselves the size of like a chestnut. Like it's
Yeah.
like crazy what they can fit into.
So just knowing that there's rodents somewhere in this house just gives me the heebie-jeebies like at all times now. And then I'm like questioning everything like, are they in here and I just am not aware of it? Because I don't think that either of my felines is really particularly aggressive enough, nor do they have hunting skills because they've been treated like a prince and princess their entire lives. So that's just been at the back of my mind for the past 24
They're
hours.
the most domesticated cats
I was
of all
about to say
time.
domesticated isn't even a strong enough word. They're like so loved and adored that they would not even know what it's like to have like an outside creature
Like
come into their domain.
whatever meme you're imagining where like a Persian cat is laying on like a king's pillow or whatever, like that's what's going on over at Steph's house. So I just need you to know that these are
Literally.
they're not going to find
Literally
anything.
napping on the Hermes blankets. Like that's
Yeah.
the situation.
Yeah.
Faux, as if I would ever buy real Hermes and then let my cats on it.
Oh Lord.
Other than that, been, planning some book stuff, and Bethany sold a copy yesterday because
What?
she has some in her store, and I sent her a QR code so she can do like a little framed, if people want to buy them.
Like I have at my work.
Yeah. Oh, because she thinks like a lot of people who are tourists that are coming through Jackson, maybe they want to buy it and have it at home when they get there
They can
instead
get their
of
Tetons tattoo and then buy your
Mhm.
book and reminisce about the entire thing. Bethany's the
And
best.
maybe if they can't afford to buy the heart leather boots for real, they can have the book cover with the boots on it as their like souvenir from their trip.
Mhm.
Yep. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it.
And she and I have scheduled a time to chat, not this coming week, but the following week, because I need her as a sort of research reference for the next book that I'm working on, because the female protagonist is a tattoo artist. So I need someone with the experience to give me all the nitty gritty.
Is this going to be a tie-in book?
No,
Okay. But it's going to be in Wyoming.
it's also going to take place in Jackson, but because I just miss it. I haven't been there in a year. A year tomorrow or
Yeah,
Wednesday.
this week. Yeah.
Yeah. So I miss it. So I need to mentally travel there.
Fair. That's
I
fair.
wish that I could like poof, make myself your publisher and be like, here's some advance money to go on a research trip to make sure you get everything as accurate as possible.
That sounds nice.
The dream.
Mm-hmm.
That is a dream. Goals, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I am high off trying a new restaurant.
Hey,
Last night I went to Comfort Kitchen in Dorchester. I've known about this restaurant for a while. It's been pretty celebrated in the local Boston media, and then it was on the most recent season of Somebody Feed Phil on Netflix, which is many of our shared obsession. And it was also on the Bib Gourmand list when the Michelin judges came to Boston. So I just really felt I should go. And I couldn't tell you the last time I ate a restaurant meal in Dorchester. It's honestly probably been since the year I graduated from college and had a friend who was living over there. Like it's been a long time.
add Via Canuccia to the list. That place is the bomb.
Yeah. The restaurant was lovely. From the second I walked in, warm hostess, amazing server, great table. I had a hibiscus daiquiri as my cocktail. Gorgeous hue with the flower in it. Then we had my friend Amy was willing to eat all vegetarian, which was awesome. We had plantain chips with smoked eggplant dip.
Ooh.
Like unreal. If someone gave me a Costco size bag of those plantain chips, I could finish them myself. Like it was so good. We had okra over yogurt sauce, which was really yummy. Then they make a vegan play on a slider, but it's made with jackfruit instead of meat. Very delicious. And then we split this roast cauliflower Normally when you order cauliflower, you're like, "Is this just gonna taste like water?" Like, not everybody knows what to do with a head of cauliflower. This was so flavorful, so spicy, had great veg on the side, gave it extra texture. The waiter came over to ask what we thought of it, and I said, "As a vegetarian, I eat so much cauliflower, I can't get over this." And he said, "The first time I took a bite of this, I thought, other people are out there making cauliflower in all these bullshit ways when it could taste like this?" And I was like, "Yes, sir, correct." And then we had the little chocolate torte with raspberry sauce and fresh whipped cream. Just like a 10 out of 10 experience.
How do you feel about a raspberry sauce on your chocolate? Because I know that you don't like fruit dessert.
I don't like fruit as the star of a dessert, but I do like the chocolate raspberry combo. Like I would eat that as like a chocolate truffle or in a candy bar or
What
like the
about
Dove chocolate
if the
squares.
fruit is in a donut?
What flavor are we talking?
Um, you're putting me on the spot.
Like a
A
strawberry
I
frosted
was
donut?
thinking like a black raspberry chocolate frosted donut. Not that I've ever had that.
I
I
could
don't know
try
where I
that.
just got that from, but
I could try
or
that.
like a creamsicle donut.
No.
You don't well, do you like creamsicle in general?
Nope.
Yeah, okay. I think I did know that about you because I get the creamsicle twist at
Celebrity.
Celebrity
Oh,
ice cream
yeah.
sometimes, and it's so delightful.
Yeah.
And Molly always gets the vanilla chocolate twist with sprinkles.
Stephanie's
That's
laughing only
fair.
because she knows my food order at every place that we've ever been
It's
in the history of
totally
time.
fair. I saw you went to Cabot's the other night too.
Yes, I went to for
Was
those
it a
who
nightmare with the children or was it good?
okay, great question. It was packed when we walked in. We were seated between 2 tables of multi-generational families celebrating birthdays. It was so loud and so many people bumping into me from every direction. If you're lucky to get a booth, you don't really experience that, but when you're in the big bullpen middle, it's, like, pretty uncomfy. Thankfully, one family left about halfway through while we were just getting our dinner so we could, like, breathe a little bit more. It was very intense for all the senses while we were there, but the food was delicious. And before dinner, we went to see Song Sung Blue, which is the new movie with Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson about the Neil Diamond cover band. I was totally unsure what to expect. I really went in with no expectations, and I loved it. I thought it was great. The whole time I was like, "I wish my parents were here to see this." It's the perfect movie to see with your parents, and the music is great. The performances are very emotional. I had, like, a quivering lip for the final 25 minutes because some hard things happen, and then the credits rolled and the lights came up and I was like, "Did I just see what could be like an Oscar-nominated movie?" It just was so much
Wow.
better than I thought. So to have that experience of exceeded expectations
Because the
followed
trailer
by
looks corny because of, like, the outfits they
yes,
wear and the wigs and everything. It looks a
not corny,
little huh,
not corny,
alright, I'll put
really
it on my
good.
list. When it comes on demand, I'll definitely watch
Yes,
it.
totally. Great for streaming. It's 2 hours exactly. Yeah, it was a great night, which of course ended with the peppermint stick hot fudge sundae at Cabot's.
Like,
Can't go wrong.
I want Cabot's right now from a post that you did a couple days ago.
I know. So
You know what
good.
I mean? And, like, I have not you know, if anybody's listening and they live in my part of Massachusetts, like, I feel like Norwood would have a place like that. Like, I went to 3 different antique used furniture places all in Norwood in one day the other day because I was looking for another bookshelf. None of them had any bookshelves that were, like, in decent shape, but, like, I had 3 options. And, like, there's a couple of diners in Norwood and, like, there's a downtown with a gazebo, like, it's the type of place that should have a Cabot's, but, like, I don't know where it is or if it exists. So and there's a really, really awesome ice cream place nearby, but it's seasonal, and so, like, I don't even know if I wanted to get an ice cream, like, right now, I don't even know where the hell there's a JP Licks and Legacy Place, but, like, going to Legacy Place just to get an ice cream is, like, a real adventure. Did anybody set any New Year's resolutions?
Not
But I
yet.
never do.
I just got into it last year when I made my bingo card.
Love that.
I put on some interesting things. I need to decorate my basement and actually use it. And I have a built-in fire pit in my backyard that I've never used because I'm a little afraid of being in charge of fire at my own home. I want to learn how to play mahjong, so I just ordered a book about it. And I want to see some plays. I have a trip to Las Vegas coming up that I'm going to get to see, no doubt, at the Sphere. By the end of the week, I'll probably have it together and made, and it'll look good and all of that. But I was just wondering if Steph was like, finish a new book by the end of 2026 or something like that.
I mean, my goal is to work on this next one through March and be done with the first draft then, and then go back and re-edit the cross country second chance book that I wrote a year ago and put that one out for 2026.
You think you're going to have a draft of an entire book in like 10 weeks?
Well, I mean, I wrote the one last year in I think 2 months.
Oh my God. See,
This is not a 2026 goal. This is an ongoing goal, which is that I want to come up with the title of one of Steph's books. It's been
That's a
an
good one.
ongoing goal.
Yeah.
I like that. I
That's
like
good.
that a lot.
It may never happen, but it's not going to stop me from
And
trying.
And the road trip one is nameless right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I had wanted to use the Depeche Mode lyric that feels fitting for it, but I'm not sure that that's really the right title for it. So yeah, still kind of thinking on that one.
I know that I've already said this, but I just want to remind everyone that the road trip book, in terms of books that Steph has written, is my favorite. So I'm really looking forward to. Now I have something to look forward to. I'm going to like promote my favorite Steph Blackburn book.
Yeah, but it probably won't be for like another 8-9 months. You know,
That's okay. It's still this year. I'm still looking forward to it. Should we get into the book that we're going to discuss today?
yeah.
Let's do it.
We're staying on theme with our heated rivalry, winter extravaganza, whatever you want to call our obsession. We are talking about Fake Skating by Lynn Painter, one of my favorites. If you put me in a room and said, write down your 10 favorite authors right now as of today, I think Lynn Painter's on the list because she doesn't miss. I'm always having a good time when I read her books. I'm never having a bad time. I want all of her books to become TV shows and or movies, a la every Jenny Han book. I think that her books are better written than Jenny Han's books. And I think that they have similar tropes and great characters. And I would say that her banter and dialogue is on par with the banter and dialogue that Jenny Han has in her movie and TV scripts. I don't think Jenny Han had that down packed when she was writing books, but when she adapted her books, she like got really good at it. And I think that Lynn Painter's stuff could go toe to toe, and I think people would love it. Out of all the books that I've read by her, I think this or Better Than the Movies would probably be the best movie in my opinion. But this book
would disagree. I think The Do-Over would be so fun as a movie.
That would be fun, but I like these books better. Okay, so this is called Fake Skating. It is, I guess we could call it a second chance romance, but there's also fake dating. And it's about two people that are seniors in high school, and they live in the Midwest, and their names are Danny and Alec. Danny and Alec. Danny was like childhood best friends with Alec, and then she moved away because her dad is in the military and they move around a lot. Her grandfather, the famous former NHL player Mick Bosch, still lives in Minnesota. So when her parents split up, which was like a long time coming, it seems, based on everybody's reactions, and she moves back, they move in with her grandpa, who has made like an entire apartment in his house for her and her mom. And because she's moved around all the time, she has really, like, in her mind, built up this best friendship that she had with Alec when she lived there. Because not that it wasn't real, but like, I think it was her longest sustained friendship. And she always wanted like a little more. And like right when they were getting to an age where like they might have dated is when she moved. And then they kind of have like a misunderstanding, falling out kind of situation once she moves. And so when she comes back, she's like, is it going to be the same? Are we going to be best friends again? Like, what's going to happen? And she very quickly realizes that her dweeby childhood best friend is like the big man on campus at her new high school and is like a number one prospect to get drafted to play NHL hockey. And she's like, pardon? Like, excuse me? Like, what? And so I don't want to say like the tables have turned on her, but like she definitely walks into a situation that she wasn't expecting. And we spend a lot of the book like seeing what each of them is thinking about the other one. And it's just so juicy and delicious. And then I don't want to give anything away, but there is like a fake dating plot that happens, and there's falling back in love with your best friend, and there's the curmudgeony grandfather, and all of these other obstacles that are kind of getting in the way. Like they're going to be going off to college. So, like, is it even worth risking it all? You know, just there's, oh God, it's just so good. I just love her. I love her. I wanted to crawl into this book when I was reading. Like, this is the type of book, and I'm 40, okay? But this is the type of book that when you're reading it, you're like, this is what I wanted to happen to me in high school. Like, I wanted to have a best guy friend who was like a hot hockey player with like all these prospects and all of this. And I want him to like fall in love with me and like be my best friend forever. And when I was reading this book, I was like, I've never been to Minnesota. Like, do I need to go to Minnesota? I don't. I don't need to go to Minnesota, I don't think.
do.
Yes, you do, because there's a fantastic pizza place that I
Okay, but that's
dream
not a
about.
reason to go
You-
just
That's
We'll go
literally
with-
why we went.
We'll go without you if that's how you feel.
I just don't know that I can like take time off for yeah, but you went on the way to something else. It wasn't
Yes.
the only
Yes, but that was,
destination.
I said to them, I want to go to this pizza place. So are you willing to spend hundreds of dollars extra to detour to this city just for pizza?
I would do that once I knew the pizza was that good. I don't know that I would have done that first go. You know what I mean?
It was on chef's table, so I knew it was that
Yeah,
good.
that's fair. That's fair. But anyways, I wanted to crawl inside this book and live there, and I also wanted this to be my real romantic life when I was 17 years old, because it was just chef's kiss. And it wasn't easy. There's a lot of ups and downs in this one, and they both make some mistakes and they both like learn from it, and they're both like, when they're actually being honest with each other, pretty good communicators. And I thought that was like a really cool thing to show. But yeah, if we did another podcast episode where like it was like books I can live in, remember we did that episode whenever
Yep.
that was? This would climb the list, even though it's cold as fuck Minnesota throughout the entire book. They're constantly talking about how cold it is. I still think I would want to maybe live in this book for a little while. And that's
You
what I have
live
to say
in
about it.
Massachusetts. I don't think it's that much colder there than it is
They
here.
have the wind though. The lake effect, snow, I don't know. It seemed bad. Everybody that talks about it, it doesn't seem good.
I too loved this book. I think reading about hockey in the wintertime is always like gets you in the mood. There was a particular moment during this fake dating escapade that I screamed out loud, and I almost texted both of you and I was like, nope, wait until we do the podcast. So this is from Danny's perspective. I stopped talking because when I opened my locker door, a bag of gummy bears dropped down from the top shelf, swinging out at me from where it was connected to what appeared to be a strand of twine. What the heck is this? Cassie reached out and grabbed the bag, holding it so she could read the note that was attached to the front of the candy. Collins, I don't know if you still inhale these like you used to, but I saw them in the machine and thought of you. Alec. P.S. My book smells like your perfume and it's distracting as hell. Again, as discussed on many other podcasts, sometimes I read something where I'm like, could this happen to me, please? I have literally in my dating profile that you can win me over with gummy bears. And I read this and was like, Lynn Painter, you just get it. You just get it. The ways that people want to be surprised with the thing that lights them up. Small things, not a grand gesture, just like something that says you know the person.
And that they were thinking of you when you weren't together.
yes.
It's so easy for men. It is so easy for men. I can't even be like, it blows my mind how easy it is for them to impress us, and they still can't do it.
I know. I know. Also, even though this story is set in Minnesota, there happens to be one very Massachusetts moment, which also made me smile, which I will read aloud. Danny's talking about her goals for college after senior year. I wanted to go to Harvard so badly. I wanted to go to Harvard like Lorelai wanted Rory to go to Harvard. When I was in grade school, my dad was stationed at Hanscom Air Force Base just outside Boston. My mom used to take me to Harvard for fun, and we'd spend entire autumn days exploring the campus while the leaves were in full color. She fed me Lunchables in Harvard Square, and I fell madly in love. I'd never been able to put my finger on exactly what I loved about it, but Cambridge was my happy place. So yes, my only goal in life at the moment was Harvard. Even though Lynn Painter herself is not from here, I feel like there are certain universal things that people understand about the Harvard Yard, Harvard Square experience because it is so ubiquitous. I wasn't expecting it in here and I loved it. I just thought it was a fun little local moment. My favorite part of this whole book is Danny's relationship with her grandfather and the way that even though he's super tough and everyone idolizes him, the only thing he cares about is protecting her. Like he will intercept anyone and anything that disturbs her peace or makes it hard for her to adjust. All the high school guys think he's a god and he just doesn't care and will put himself between her and anything he thinks is going to cause trouble. I was picturing him as, what is the name of the actor who is Josh Brolin's father?
James Brolin.
Yes, that's who I was picturing in this, even though I know he doesn't have like a hockey bod, but like the grizzled face, the white hair, the like no BS attitude.
See, I pictured like Kevin Costner.
That works too.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, give this to me as like a 6 or 8 episode mini show because there's a lot that happens in this book. And
Yes.
if you were going to include the flashbacks of when they're kids and all of that, like I do really think somebody should option this. And it needs to be done. Somebody needs to get on the Lynn Painter bandwagon because what was that movie that just came out that I went to see that was adapted from
Regretting You?
Yes, that was in the movie theater. It made a lot of money. It didn't go straight to streaming. It was in the movie theater and I went and saw it because I had read it. And there's money to be made here. I don't know who needs to be told that, but like Lynn Painter's books are great. People would watch it. And honestly, if you play up the grandfather and the divorced mom, and the divorced mom has all these like high school friends that she reunites with, and they go to these local bars to like watch hockey and hang out and all this. If you played that up, then you're going to get multiple audiences. It's going to become a family show. You know what I mean? They should put us in charge of shit. Or women. They should at least put women in charge of shit because we would get it done. And I'm telling you right now, play off of what's going on with heated rivalry right now. Like I can't tell you how many people on my TikTok feed are like, I bought hockey tickets. I think that there's like a real feral thing happening with hockey right now. And I think if you like put together a small town, second chance romance, fake dating, threw in some parent timelines, I think you could get something real lucrative there. Steph, what did you think?
The grandfather was the best part for me, especially like the little moments where Danny thinks he might be like reading from a script of how to relate to his granddaughter, which just kudos, Lynn. But also like he's so observant and he's picking up that like something is wrong with Alec physically, that he's maybe in pain and hiding it. I love a curmudgeon character, but I also love either like parental or grandparent character who is just like a really good guy. I also, going back to heated rivalry, I think the reason that Kip's father resonated with me so much is that it is so like few and far between that we see a male character hug or be sort of
say I love
gentle
you without being
yes.
like initiating it, like being
yes.
the first person to say it.
There was something that was like so new about seeing Kip and his father hug and like hold each other that I just want more of that. So like this grandfather just being, you know, he comes off as kind of gruff in the beginning, but then you realize that like he's just trying to relate to someone that he hasn't seen in a while, and he doesn't really know how to relate to her. Right before the holidays, when, you know, there were lots of parents that were coming in being like, I have like a 12-year-old or I have a 14-year-old and I, you know, they're starting to read again. My go-to was taking them to Lynn Painter's section of our store because I know that there's never going to be anything too gratuitous. You know, there's swearing, but like, okay, live a little. But there's never like that I can remember. I don't remember like drug use or like sex or anything. So I feel like she's very good about having real depictions of relationships with parents, with friends, with a romantic partner. But I kept telling every parent that I like took over there, I was like, you can trust that like you're not going to have to worry about what your kid is reading. And also as a 42-year-old, I loved this book. So like you could
who
read
needs
it
to
too.
read this? 17-year-old boys. I think they'll think it's funny because it shows both points of view. I think that they will like that. Like, okay, this is how the boy was feeling about it, and this is how the girl's feeling about like the same situation. I think they could get some hot tips on dating. I think that there's the sport aspect of it. And like the girl, like Danny gets into, even though her grandfather plays hockey, she's like never really been into it before. And she like starts to get into it because everybody in the town is like into it. And like, obviously it's Alex's thing now. And so there's that sporty aspect to it. Like, this is the kind of book that I'm like, if only boys read this, like they would know what was going on. I just
Yeah.
loved it. I can't wait for her next one. I think it comes out in May.
I have a couple more thoughts before we move on from it.
Yeah, do it.
As Steph was talking about the grandfather, I also remembered another part that just like broke me. Eventually, we learn some stuff about Danny's mom and what her life was like before she got pregnant. And all of a sudden, I was like, oh, this is why Grandpa Mick is so fiercely protective. Like he feels like he failed the first time. And now he's doing everything he can to put Danny on a different path. And even though this book, like if you saw this in the store and you saw the cover, I don't think you would think it has this depth of emotion and of complications in relationships and just maturity of discussing all the challenges of life. I like that alongside the witty banter and the high school crushes and the gummy bears, you also get like real life challenges and how people are overcoming things together and, you know, relating to each other and trying to move forward and trying to make peace and trying to right the wrongs. I also had forgotten about this little part. Speaking of heated rivalry and the love of my life, Ilya Rozanov, there's a page in here where Danny's walking by Alex's desk in class. She says, I couldn't stop myself from glancing at him when I walked by his desk, just as he tilted his head and met my eyes, while smirking like he was the king who found himself amused by the presence of a lowly peasant. I clenched my teeth and was about to look away when he winked. He winked at me. And the winked is italicized. And I was like, this is becoming the signature move of like a certain type of guy. And I think it's hilarious that she wrote in that specific moment. And now there are entire fan edits on social media just of all the winks of Ilya Rozanov. It's just like a very specific
Steph knows
move.
this. Steph knows this. Molly, I don't think you do. Back in my Tumblr days, my Tumblr is called winksaремykryptonite.tumblr.com. It still exists. You can go to it. You're welcome, listeners. It still exists. There are some actors who like they wink in the roles that they're in, but then they also wink in real life. Kyle Chandler is one of those people, and Dylan O'Brien is one of those people.
Okay.
There's just a lot of people that's like they'll be in interviews and they'll be like trying to be cheeky and they'll like, you know, do one of these, and it's literally like I sweat. Like it makes me sweat. And I've seen Kyle Chandler wink in person and I like almost needed smelling salts. Like it was bad. And like it's yes. So Ilya winking I think is hilarious because when he's doing it, he's just being like such an asshole, which is like a totally different category of winking in my opinion. But yeah, hockey players winking, that's a problem. That's a problem for me.
How did I not know if winks are my kryptonite? Obviously, I'm going to go look at that as soon as we hang up from here.
Oh, Molly, it's years. I was on like a Teen Wolf tangent for a while, so get ready for that. That was when Steph was addressing all of my birthday cards to Mrs. Dylan O'Brien. So you can imagine when he ended up starring in a 10-minute Taylor Swift music video, like I had to sit down. It was like a whole, and like I feel like Steph is really the only one that truly understood like what a tizzy that sent me into, because a lot of my other friends were like, who's this Dylan O'Brien guy? And I'm like, have all of the seats, please. Anything else on fake skating?
It's just a hug. That's how I
Yeah.
felt the whole time.
This is one, I gave Molly one of my Lynn Painter books because I was like, I don't think I'll reread it. I don't think I need to hang on to that. I'm hanging on to this. I think this is one I might go back to just if like I'm in a slump or something, you know? Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you. You guys know Brit and her books?
Mhm.
So, okay, she did a whole post the other day about how she thinks that if you reread a book, it should count towards your books for the
Agreed.
year. I also agree, Molly.
I agree.
Okay, I just wanted to know what as a podcast where people were on that because it didn't even occur to me that people wouldn't count that. And she
See,
was like, there's a lot of people that think this doesn't count because you've already read it. And I'm like, but you're still spending the hours reading
mhm.
it again.
What I'm annoyed with is that there's no option in Goodreads to be able to like I want that to count towards my number of books if I'm going to
Right.
reread something.
You're
Right.
saying one that's already marked as read can't be
Mhm.
re-entered. Yeah.
I don't know how to. Maybe there is and I just don't know how to do it,
I
but
don't think
that's
that
not fair.
there is, but yeah,
Goodreads,
I was
if you're
Brit in her
listening.
books. Brit in her books made of she had a whole whiteboard design about it
With
with her
little
mini hand
ponytail
pointer.
behavior.
Yep. And I was like, I'm with you, Brit. I'm totally with you. We're one
No
on
one
that.
does a stick figure better than Brit.
She's so good. And my friend Mike, who's like a mega Lego person, I just sent him some of her stuff because she's been showing off her Legos. And he's like, who is this lady? I'm like, it's Brit. And you should get to know her because she's awesome. Yeah. Okay, well, should we discuss what we're reading right now?
Sure.
Who wants to go?
I can go first. So we have like kind of like a newsletter internally about like anything book related, books that are coming out, books that are being made into movies, and we should like restock, books coming out in paperback for the first time or like anniversary editions. Back in August, I found out about this book and I have been like chomping at the bit to get my hands on it. So when it showed up in the break room, I was like rabid because this book is written by a man who is nonverbal and autistic. And
I remember you telling us about it.
mhm, we're absolutely going to do an episode on it. So I'm not going to like get into it too much. I'm only
What's it
for
called?
it's called Upward Bound by Woody Brown. It comes out in March. It's very thin. It's not a super thick book. And each chapter is from like a different person's perspective. The first chapter is from a nonverbal autistic man. The second chapter, which I'm in the middle of, is a nonverbal cerebral palsy man. And they both go to this sort of daycare facility called Upward Bound, which they both find ironic because there is no progressive movement once you are stuck here. So they like go home at night to their parents and then in the day they're taken care of here. And I've laughed out loud a bunch of times. I've also like been on the verge of tears multiple times because you're getting to hear their inner thoughts, which I feel like a lot of people just don't ever consider, like how much is actually going on when someone is nonverbal. And I think also because like yesterday I had posted about my time working as a horse handler for the physical therapy of kids with disabilities. I was thinking about those kiddos, which made me like almost burst into tears thinking about like their lives and their inner thoughts and stories. So we're definitely going to do an episode on this because it's so interesting and it's so well written.
Awesome. I am reading a book and I don't know if I'm going to finish it or not, but we'll see. Well, time will tell. I am reading Babel by R.F. Kuang,
Oh yeah, I haven't read it, but I'm
which
so
is
intrigued.
the same author as Yellowface. And Yellowface was like a departure from all of her other books. She usually writes like high fantasy, dark academia kind of stuff, which is what this is about. This is about a Cantonese boy who, in the 1800s, his entire family gets taken out by a plague. And this British man essentially rescues him from his home where he's just sitting around with dead bodies. And he's like, it doesn't specifically say, but I'd say he's probably 9 or 10 years old at the time. And throughout his entire childhood, there has been a British woman who has come and taught him English. And he doesn't really know why. And within like the first 30 pages, you find out that this professor that comes and like lifts him out of his home is his dad, like biologically his dad. And he's been sending this woman to teach him English in this village that he lives in. And he's basically going to be trained in like multiple languages. And so he gets plucked and taken to London. He already knows English and Mandarin, some Mandarin and Cantonese. And he's being thrown into these classes where he's learning Latin and Greek. And the professor like basically becomes his guardian, and he doesn't really have a lot of information, but he's like, I don't have any family, and like he's feeding me and like putting me in school and like having me do all these things. And there's definitely like a level of magic going on, like arcane magic, like with silver. And like when the professor goes and rescues him, he's very, very ill, and he gives him this like bar of silver, and it like essentially cures him. It makes his mouth taste like dates. And then within like 20 minutes, he feels way better. And so it's like alluded to that in addition to all these linguistics that he's going to learn, he's also going to become whatever this is called. They have a name for it, silver working. So I don't know if the professor is like basically magical, part magician. I don't know, but it sounds like you can train to do it. I also don't know why the professor is like not telling him that he's his dad, because like he overhears conversations where he finds out like that it is his dad, and he's like, I'm not going to question it, but like this seems a little weird. I took Latin for a long time, and like I like that, the language part of it, but I can kind of tell that this is going to go to a dark place. Like this professor is like not a good person, and that this kid is just going to be like academically like put in a pressure cooker for whatever reason. And I just don't know. This is over 500 pages long, and I just don't know that I'm going to want to dig into that. Now, if they
It's
get
not a
in,
standalone though, right? There's
I
another.
think it is. I think it is a standalone.
Why did I think there's another one?
Well, she has the Poppy War. That's a trilogy that she wrote. But anyways, so I don't know if I'm going to stick with this or not. It's interesting, but I can already tell that like it's just not going to go in a good direction. And I just don't know if I want to watch this kid be in a pressure cooker. The professor works at Oxford, so he knows he's going to like end up at Oxford. It's just giving creepy vibes, and I'm just not sure where it's going to go. So I'm going to keep with it for a little while because I'm only like 40 pages in, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it.
Once again, I'll be responsible for a tonal shift. I just finished today Simply More, which is the Cynthia Erivo memoir. I was the lucky recipient of quite a few bookstore gift cards for the holidays, and I was like, what am I going to do? Buy things in hardcover. So this was the first thing that I bought. This book is only 190 pages, and it reads like part memoir, part journal reflections, part advice for the reader. I was wondering why she decided to call it this, and I wondered if it would come up in the book or if it just was something that felt true to her. And finally, I hit the section where she talks about it, and I just wanted to read it to you guys because I thought it was really interesting. She said, my queerness goes against the grain of what many people think is right and proper. I think my mother's worried about what others think, but she's coming to the understanding that what others think doesn't worry me in the slightest. I know she's trying. I see her working to reconcile the idea of what she had in her head for me, her plans for me, and then working to let go of those plans. I'm aware that must be hard. She knows I'm my own person, that I get to choose who I love. She's starting to see the fact that my queerness is an additive thing. It doesn't take away from me. It's the cherry on top of who I am. It's simply more, which I thought was really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, when I got to the acknowledgments, I had to laugh out loud because she said, to Dr. Tom, my therapist, who has been instrumental in helping me discover the corners of myself that I may have been too afraid to mine on my own. Without the knowledge of those parts, this book could not have been written. I owe him an endless debt of gratitude. I just love that she's saying that. Like, I couldn't have done this without a mental health professional. And then her about the author is one of the biggest mic drop bios I have read in a really long time. Cynthia Erivo is a Grammy, Emmy, and Tony Award-winning actress, singer, author, and producer, as well as a SAG, Golden Globe, and 3-time Academy Award nominee. Since bursting onto West End and Broadway stages in The Color Purple, she's taken the world by storm. Erivo stars as Elphaba opposite Ariana Grande's Glinda in Universal's record-breaking film adaptation of the hit musical Wicked from director John M. Chu. Wicked opened at #1 and has since become the highest-grossing movie based on a Broadway musical at the U.S. box office. Erivo has received widespread critical acclaim for the role, which has earned her Golden Globe, SAG, Critics' Choice, NAACP, BAFTA, and Academy Award nominations. What? I just think it takes a certain kind of person to have that be the bio. I think many people would not feel comfortable to say that or to list those things or to list so many of those things. And I think after you read her perspective on her life, her career, her decision making, her coming out, all of it, it's not that surprising because she feels like she has been outcast as a weirdo for most of her career. And it turns out that, like, that's the secret sauce. And all of these things came to her when she finally decided to stop doing what other people thought she should be doing. And I know all of us read a ton of author bios, including the celebrity memoir bios. I can honestly say the only other one I think that maybe gave the same feeling was Cher. I think hers read like Cher is a global icon, something like that was the opening
And that's
sentence.
all. I think that's all it said. It just had one sentence.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Simply More. I think if you're a Cynthia fan, you will love it. There's a lot of cool behind the scenes stuff. It's not, in the technical sense, the most well written, but it is interesting and fun. And I love all that, tales from the set, tales from the stage type of stuff. So I really enjoyed it. And I just love to have the Goodreads total tick up so early in the year. It's deeply
Isn't that
satisfying.
nice? Yeah, that is nice. Heated Rivalry did that for me. That was my first book that I finished in 2026.
Love that for you. Love that for you. Listeners, if you want to check out all the books that we mentioned today, give us a follow on Instagram at Plans Are Booked. That's where we share all of the books that we mention every episode. You can also write to us, plansarebooked@gmail.com. And if you liked what you heard today or in any previous episodes, please go ahead and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We greatly appreciate it.
And until next time, our plans are booked.